All right, man. That's where I left off at. The timucua were not a unified political unit. Rather, they were made up of at least 35 chiefdoms, each consisting of about 2 to 10 villages. Man, don't tell me Rosewood was the kill. Oh man, let me go. Rosewood, like right around the corner too. Where all that shit happened. With one being primary. In 1601, the Spanish noted more than 50 caciques, which are chiefs, subject to the head cacique of Santa Elena, Yustaga, San Pedro, Takuru, on Cumberland Island, Timucua, Northern Utina, and Potano. The Takuru, Sataria, and Kazkange were independent. Were independent. Villages were divided into family clans, usually bearing animal names. Children were always in their mother's clan. What? I ain't never know that. But let me go. The Timucua had many ceremonies. The chief gods were the sun and the moon, the deer and other animals. There were numerous ceremonies and festivals for the harvesting season, planting season, marriages, funerals, wars, and fishing and hunting expeditions. Every ceremony had its own special rite, such as fasting, feasting, praying, or dancing. An act of supernatural power, such as a sacrifice or prayer, can actually generate a kapemni. I don't know what that is. The double helices that we see in the Micmac petroglyph, and that the Gottschall are nothing more nor less than a series of connected kapemni. The kapemni certainly appears to have evolved out of what is called a power line. This term is found in the literature on plain pictography, of which there are numerous Lakota examples. Sometimes, though less frequently, it is represented by several straight lines emanating from the head of a supernaturally powerful person, such as a medicine man. Everybody, look at this Tamaqua man hunted alligators. And I'm going right back to something I showed in my previous videos, a brief history of Gainesville. They showing them, they don't show the houses in the back, but they showing the Tamaqua Indians killing gators. Gainesville, Florida, University of Florida is the home of the Gators, Gator Chomp and all that dumb shit. But let me go. See, this image look somewhat the same, but it's the houses missing. Excuse me, the houses, man. Just you know how I go. More usually, however, the rays take on the form of sine waves, as we see in the Lakota pictograph symbol meaning medicine man. The term rays is appropriate since such depictions attempt to capture an invisible power, a supernatural force that radiates symbol meaning medicine man. The term rays is appropriate. Oh, man. Since such depictions attempt to capture an invisible power, a supernatural force that radiates symbol meaning outwards from a sacred nodal point. It is a person's or object's holiness expressed as an invisible field of supernatural potency. The sine wave is the two-dimensional representation of a twisting motion, like the letter Ga in the Hebrew language. I don't know. Since it is of the nature of radiating supernatural power to configure itself in a circular form, the circle being an exemplar of perfection, we see such a power line emanating from the star in the Micmac pictograph above. I'm gonna go and see what I said. More importantly, we have relatively modern pictorial evidence of the both relatively evidence of both the power line and the Capemdi double helix. Okay, it's double helix that are refined in the form of concrete ritual artifacts. A rather late survival of the Mississippian culture, the Timucua tribe of Florida was visited in 1564 by French by demon expedition under under Laudonniere that the foresight to bring an artist with them, Jacques Lemoyne de Moore, His name is Devil, Le Devil, De Devil. All right. I ain't gonna bring up that Ga sign, but check out the Hebrew letter for Ga, the 23rd letter of the Hebrew letter. After that, I'm gonna read up here, then I'm gonna go ahead and pause. He painted numerous scenes of Timucuan life, which found themselves published in engravings done by. Okay, I'm gonna read it. The inset shows part of Debray's. I read that somewhere else. Of Lemoyne's trophies and ceremonies after victory. Illustrated are three of the poles upon which trophies were suspended. Flanking a pole with a scalp at its top is a pole with an arm tied to it and another with a leg fastened to it in the same way. Of particular interest are rigid strands or vines that spiral down the poles. Is that like the little thing where you hit the ball and it go around? That's what it reminds me of. Just a description of it. Connecting, okay, the spiral down the poles, connecting the top of the trophy to the ground. The trophies are meant to be the surviving physical attachment to which the souls of the slain warriors remain fixed. The arm, scalp, and leg probably represent, respectively, executive power, spirit, and motion. So the legs, I guess, for the hands are for the executive power, the legs for the motion, and the scalp is for the spirit, I'm guessing. The two poles with limbs attached have single helices or power lines that send down the spiritual power possessed by the slain warrior and these appendages to sacred earth of the victorious tribe. The scalp, which is a kind of cynic, cynic doce. I heard of Seneca before, but I don't know what that is. For the head as a whole may be taken to represent the spirit of the departed warrior whose power now rebound to the victors. Being the chief artifact of the slain warrior's soul stuff, his hair's spiritual power is transmitted in entwined power lines in the form of a double helix capimini. The top knot, as can be seen, has been untied and the long strands of hair have been allowed to spread like wings. The result is strikingly like a caduceus. See below for caduceus. This double helix looks very similar indeed to the portrayed in the Goshgal pictographs. The discharge of power is also in the same direction from above to below. In the case of Gastral twins pictures, the discharge of the force is in a deposit of supernatural power into the earth, but a violent expression of its power to destructive ends. This kind of capimini power is hinted at in rituals from the Mississippian cultures in the context of war. They strike with fury and vengeance in the Spiral Stripe War, a symbolic axial conduit between the sun and the sacred fire. There, the spiral strips are a surface counterpart to the strand seen in 1564 painting. The painting illustrates the idea representation, which is three-dimensional. The three-dimensionality can only be suggested in the two-dimensional medium used at Gotchdal. I'm gonna pause this, man. As a matter of fact, let me see this picture they're talking about. I don't know if that's the picture, man, but that's a monument. Uh, I only got a little bit left, man, so I'm gonna read the rest of this and come back.